What the? What up, y'all? Fuck. Damn. Can y'all hear that? Welcome to another episode of the Divester Games! That's right. Bottom Shelf Brad adds another one to his score with impunity as the news media looks on. Divestors and swirlers are silent as they continue to think that black men are better. Oh, man. Zeke, what up, man? Mom, what up, man? Lion, what up? Will Howard, bootleg Wafflesburger kind of. Jermaine Taylor, what up, man? Kwame Kaji, what up? Yeah, man. Welcome to yet another and another one. Another episode of the Divester Games. Yep, another one resting in preference. King, that's right. There's way too many stories like this, and of course, there's no outrage. But let a black man get caught cheating, or with a non-black, or with a non-Keisha. Yep. That's actually crazy when you think about it. Is that an athlete kneeling down after a game and proposing to a non-black woman is gonna be a bigger story than a black woman going out with a white man and getting dismembered or shot or whatever. That's really astounding when you think about it. It really is. Yeah, science got a year just started. Yeah. What am I? I think I'm like in my third episode for this year, and we barely passed fucking Valentine's Day. It's only 2 months out of this year. 3 deaths. I mean, y'all seen James Worthy in the thumbnail, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Distant Rose, what up, man? Y'all know what time it is, man. All right, man. Without further ado, man, you go ahead and share the screen. Let's get off into the news. Shit is wild, man. Let's go.
Was accused of killing a woman last night on the Heights Drive in North Carolina.
Police say Noah Hendricks shot and killed Jennifer Talley. Investigators say he was quickly identified and taken into custody in Clinton. They also say this was a domestic relationship, and that's the vast majority of violent crimes.
Covering Shelby County, where a man is accused of killing a woman last night on the Heights Drive in North Carolina.
Police say Noah Hendricks shot and killed Jennifer Talley. Investigators say he was quickly identified and taken into custody in Clinton. They also say this was a domestic relationship, and that's the vast majority of violent crimes.
So here's the backstory on this. But 5.5 black femicide, whatever. So she's 23 years old, he's 22 years old, right? And when he smoked her, he didn't make any attempt to get her, medical aid, right? And then he just went to work, and her body was there for days. Her body was there for days. Somebody else went and found her body in the house. The police was called, and of course, because he's the boyfriend, he was suspect number one. The police went to his job and apprehended him, and he still had the pipe in his the pistol in his glove box. When questioned about it, he said that it was an accidental discharge. But then once he got locked up, he threatened suicide, and I think actually tried a suicide attempt. And so when his bond hearing came around, he was denied bond because the judge was like, your mental condition and you're a danger to the community. You didn't notify emergency services. You claim this a reckless discharge, whatever. That's the backstory to this shit, right? That's the backstory. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like, yeah, King, that's right. Sounds like Chad Willer. Well, Chad Willer did, except this Keisha didn't survive. Yeah. Yep. Stephen, what up? All right, man. Well, here we go again. Another fallen tribute to the Divester Games. Now, isn't it ironic how what goes around comes around? When you look at old FBI information, you'll see that the so-called black man was the most likely black man to be murdered as a result of intermittent partner violence. As a matter of fact, we led death by IPV from 1976 all the way up to 1990. Why is that? That's because you had many white supremacist judges in the courts who believed in birth of a nation propaganda, who were probably born in a silent generation, or born in a great generation, or born in a lost generation. Some of these judges that were judging those cases might have actually been born a little bit after the turn of the century, right? So you can imagine how racist that their attitudes were towards so-called black men. And so it was so easy for many years to kill a brother and just say that you were a battered woman, and they would give you a manslaughter, or they would just give you nothing. Many women that killed those black men didn't do a day in jail, and they were given recognizance bonds while they were in pretrial. And so now we have it to where the same is almost true for so-called black women. They wanted Love versus Virginia. They wanted to be in interracial relationships. For centuries, they demonstrated this. And now that they can openly have the interracial relationships that they wanted, they're dying in them, right? Now, are so-called black women the only prey of bottom shelf Brad? No. Asian women actually die at the hands of bottom shelf Brad at a much, much higher rate. At a much, much higher rate. I recently talked to a woman who said that if she was going to advise a black woman, she would say to date outside of your culture. And so when this story came across my feed, I showed her this and said, what do you think about this? And you want to know what she said? She said that, why you, what's with this negativity? And I said, what do you mean, what's with this negativity? There's a relative, by the way. What do you mean, what's with this negativity? And she said, things like this, this doesn't exist in my world. I said, so also you live in a reality bubble then. And so maybe that explains why divestors won't talk about this shit, because they live in a state of psychosis. You already know they live in a state of psychosis, because for those of you who are my day one subscribers, for those of you who have been on YouTube for a long time, like Lion in here, right? Lion to tell you, it was a common thing for divestors to say, especially the African and Caribbean divestors, when they first started a goofy ass movement on YouTube in like 2012, 2013, it was a common thing for them to say that, you know, they got it wrong. The white man is not the devil, the black man is. Even though the white man has dropped 2 atomic bombs and invented the machine gun and aerial bombing. Think about it. The Egyptians had gliders. They knew how to make a Molotov cocktail of sorts, a wick with some olive oil in there, and threw it, and it could burn and stick on the sails of an enemy's boat. But they never put the two together and say, oh, you know what, let's drop these fire bombs on people. No, white people did that. White people did that. White people did that. I wish he would have said black men do it too. There's no black male equivalent of this. Do black men murder black women in intimate partner violence? Sure. But they don't do it so casually like this and then go to work and leave the damn body there for a few days. Because usually it's a crime of passion. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was an execution. This was an execution. Yeah, so we already know that they live in a reality bubble because of the way that they view black men. They view black men in a way that doesn't even denote what our real nature is. That's not even our real nature. Right? So maybe that could explain why divestors never seem to highlight stories like this. Right? Because they live in willful ignorance and delusion, and because they worship the so-called white man, then this is almost like you blaspheming their religion. This is you challenging their belief system when you show them the truth that, hey, this white man has a propensity to kill. Right? But these are the interracial relationships y'all wanted. Now y'all got them. Now y'all got them. Yep, they willing to perish for that mixed baby. Oh yeah, I heard that before, which is straight garbage. Prime VA says divestors spread the narrative that white women are killing their black spouses at the same rates. Straight garbage. Stillborn. That's a stillborn talking point. Yep. That's. Let me tell y'all something, man. If you are entertaining a woman and she tells you a narrative about how, you know, when these dudes be trying to get your number, you know, you can't refuse to take their number or whatever because they'll get violent or whatever, or women be down like that, leave them hoes alone. Leave them hoes alone. Because they just looking for an excuse to get attention and constantly, you know, be 1 foot in and 1 foot out with niggas that they fuck with. Oh yeah, we know that 313 that they never abort Detroit 313 rights. Notice they never aborted the mixed fetus, but they aborted black babies. Yeah, no, they you can't get them to abort no motherfucking mixed baby. But shit, when it's a black baby, shit, they like Doctor Who, the fucking Daleks, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. They kill that motherfucker. And they know that they lying. You know why? Because if black men was these dangerous, treacherous fiends that they say we are, they wouldn't be out here fucking all these different niggas. They wouldn't be out here fucking their work boyfriend, fucking the weed man. Then when it come time to you, they ain't got nothing left. They wouldn't be doing none of that. They wouldn't be running the motherfucking streets to all hours and letting the sun catch them. If black men was so motherfucking dangerous. No, I don't remember what the brat said when she was looking for a donor. What did she say? I'm curious now. Distant Rose writes, I just hope this divestment retirement plan keeps going. Yeah. Yeah, we they ass out the population. Shit, maybe this is the most high separating the wheat from the chaff. Straight up. Because this shit is becoming an epidemic. But you go over the Chrissy channel, you go over the Nyla channel, and they try to make you think that niggas is chasing these hoes down the streets with hatchets. Even though it's many hours of videos of so-called black men being assaulted by dollar store employees and refusing to swing back, and somebody recording telling them not to swing back, as if so-called black men are not human beings and don't have right to self-defense. It's fucking crazy. Oh yeah. Oh damn, she said that, huh? When she saw a black donor, she said he looked like Jiminy Cricket and got a white donor instead. When I used to do them half gay lives, remember what I told y'all, that how there's sometimes this divestment shit and half gay shit is linked? Remember when I told y'all that? I told y'all that. See, even though men operate off of a qualifying paradigm and women operate off of a disqualifying paradigm, if you are a woman that has an extremely disqualifying paradigm, you're probably gay. If when you look at a member of the opposite sex, especially of your own race, you look at a member of the opposite sex, and the first thing that you can think to do is find a million problems with their looks and shit, your ass is gay. Yeah, you gay. Imagine what somebody would think of a black man if they like took him to a place where there's actually a lot of nice looking black women at. And no matter how nice the woman looked, he found some reason why he didn't want to fuck with her. I would think that nigga is gay. I would. Because I go outside on any given day, and I think at least half of the women out there look good. But that's because I'm not gay. And I think that most straight men look at it like that too. At least half of the women they see look good. Yeah, that's another That's another chamber half gate to unlock. Right? Yeah, but once again, we have another tribute to that falls in the Divester Games. All I can say is that in your pursuit for interracial perfection, I wish all of y'all the best of luck. I know that perfect white man and Asian man, whatever y'all looking for, I know he's out there. Right? I know he's out there. And I encourage y'all to keep looking. It's better for y'all that have these viewpoints. It's better for y'all to keep looking for y'all perfect white man than to make some black man's life live in hell. You know, that's the way I look at it. Right? But here we have yet another one. May the odds be ever in your favor. It's been a Black Pill PSA. Peace.